Viewers, big news coming in. I'm just being told that the Shiv Sena has staged a walkout. So the Shiv Sena, we are being told, has walked out of the House. We are being told that this has happened in line with the pressure that has been put on the Shiv Sena by some of its secular allies. This is not unanticipated. Megha Prasad will be joining the broadcast in just a few moments. So the Shiv Sena that had voted for the legislation in the Lok Sabha within 24 hours has done a dramatic U-turn. The Shiv Sena stages a walkout, deciding, viewers, obviously not to support this bill. What has changed in 24 hours? We don't know. Is the Shiv Sena compromising the rights of refugees and linking all of this to its own political survival? We don't know. But if this is indeed the truth, then this is a massive, massive sacrifice of refugee rights. This goes against the Shiv Sena's own philosophy. Megha Prasad joins the broadcast. We are being told that 3 Sena MPs are not in the upper house. Megha, have they decided to stage a walkout?
Well, Rahul, just giving you an exact update of what's happening, inside Rajya Sabha. So we are right at the gate of Rajya Sabha from where, if MPs come out, this is the gate that they would take. But they still aren't out, Rahul. They still aren't out, but they are not in the House. So either they are in the galleries loitering somewhere. Clearly,
let me just quickly cut back to the Rajya Sabha. The results are in.
Citizenship Amendment Bill 2019 as passed by Lok Sabha to a select committee of the Rajya Sabha to vote. The question is that the bill further to amend the Citizenship Act 1955 as passed by Lok Sabha be referred to a select committee of Rajya Sabha consisting of the following members: Hussain Dadwai, Srimati Viprav Thakur, Sri B.K. Hari Prasad, Professor Manoj Kumar Jha, Sri Tiruchit Siva, Sri Satish Chandra Misra, Dr. K. Keshav Rao, Dr. Ami Agnik, Sri Sanjay Singh, Sri Praful Patel, with instruction to report the last day of the first week of the next session of the Rajya Sabha. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the noes have it, the amendment is negative. Now, I shall now put the amendment moved by Sri Binay Viswam for reference to the Citizenship Amendment Bill 2019 as passed by Lok Sabha to a select committee of Rajya Sabha to vote. The question is that the bill further to amend the Citizenship Act 1955 as passed by Lok Sabha be referred to a select committee of Rajya Sabha consisting of the following members: Sri K. Soma Prasad, Professor M.V. Raju Gowda, Professor Manoj Kumar Jha, Sri Sanjay Singh, Sri Sukram Singh Yadav, Sri K.K. Ragesh, Sri T.K. Sedangovan, Sri Binay Viswam, with instruction to report by the last day of the next session of the Rajya Sabha. Those in favor will please say aye. Aye. Those against will please say no. I think the noes have it, the amendment is negative. In case of the amendment by I shall now put the amendment moved by Sri Yadamaram Karim for reference of the Citizenship Amendment Bill 2019 as passed by the Lok Sabha to a select committee of Rajya Sabha to vote. The question is that this bill be to amend the Citizenship Act 55 as passed by the Lok Sabha be referred to a select committee of Rajya Sabha consisting of the following members: Sri Abdul Wahab, Sri K.K. Ragesh, Sri T.K. Rangarajan, Sri M. Shamugam, Sri Tiruchit Siva, Sri Binay Viswam, Professor Ram Gopal Yadav, with instruction to report the last day by the last day of the first week of the next session of Rajya Sabha. Those in favor please say aye. Aye. Those against will please say no. No. I think the noes have it, the amendment is negative. The question is that the Citizenship Amendment Bill 2019 as passed by Lok Sabha be taken into consideration. Those in favor will please say aye. Aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it, the motion is adopted. We'll now take up class by class consideration of the bill. Class 2 stands part of the bill. There are 14 amendments. Please. There are 14 amendments. Number 1 by Sri K.K. Ragesh T.K. Rangarajan. Number 4 by Sri Javed Ali Khan. Number 6 by Sri Siruchi Shiva. Number 8 by Sri Derek O'Brien. Number 21 by Sri Hussein Dalwai. Number 24 by Professor M. Raju Gowda. Number 26 by Ramaram Karim. Number 29 by Sri Abdul Wahab.
Well, amendments are being put to vote, mostly voice vote, unless, of course, the opposition demands division. Viewers, we can tell you that in the first instance, on the question of whether this particular bill should be sent to a select committee for further study, that has been rejected. And that happened after a division. So this is the first victory for the NDA. In the House, of course, the bill in its entirety will be put to vote in just a few moments. And you can see the amendments are being moved by various members of the Rajya Sabha even as we speak. I just want to quickly, viewers, draw upon the facts. The Citizenship Amendment Bill will be passed with now the Shiv Sena also staging a walkout. The NDA should have cobbled together a majority in the Rajya Sabha to ensure that its cherished goal of securing the lives of prosecuted minorities in Pakistan, Afghanistan and Bangladesh will turn into reality. But even though the bill will be passed, there is widespread anxiety today. The Northeast is burning and many Muslim groups are said to be expressing fear. The opposition says this is to be expected as the CAB or the Citizenship Amendment Bill violates the promises made under the Assam Accord, and it sets the stage for a nationwide NRC that will privilege the rights of all but non-Muslims. Now, this debate has been raging on the floor of the House, and the opposition says you might win the day because of your majority, but you will lose all semblance of constitutional morality. You will undermine it. So in effect, this feud in the Rajya Sabha is being played out as a contest between majority and morality, viewers. Is this a fair way of looking at this contest? We will keep the visuals on the House, viewers, so you get a sense of what is going on, and when important developments take place, we'll go back to the House. As I said, several amendments are being pushed and they're going to be put to vote. But let's just talk a little bit about these arguments that were made today. And at some level, are there room for certain individuals in this country to feel anxious? Individuals in the Northeast, specifically in the state of Assam, and of course, the wider minority community. Amit Shah says no. The government spokespeople and MPs on the floor of the House today said no, no need to fear. Apprehensions are being stoked by a motivated opposition. Let's open this out and ask some basic questions. I want to begin with Anand Ranganathan, Subhrashtra, Tariq Fateh, Sai Deepak, and the others who have joined this debate. Subhrashtra, many people today are saying that the test of morality will come about when this government decides to undertake the national NRC. Then those individuals who are being left out of the NRC exercise at a national level will find themselves discriminated because Hindus and others will get citizenship but not Muslims. How do you react to this claim?
I think it's a very false claim to make that Muslims will be denied citizenship. And I think this has been a propaganda which has been up in the air ever since the initiation of a conversation on Citizenship Amendment Bill, and also during the NRC, when the NRC was going on in Assam. Now, we need to understand one thing very clearly, that this bill has been brought in with a historical context in mind. Assam has been agitating for a very long time against foreigners who have not only intruded their land, but any look at the government census data would tell you that districts after districts have completely changed their demographic behavior. Now, why is this bill becoming a little inclusive when it comes to considering the persecuted minorities vis-a-vis our neighbors? It is because for a very long time, and I think Anand ji yesterday on your panel said it very lucidly, for a very long time the human rights activists in this country were absolutely mum when it came to considering the persecution of minorities in our neighboring states, and were only concerned about a specific community which is a minority in India, but not really according to the official figures if we have a look at it with respect to the other minorities in this country. Certainly the bill is discriminatory, but it is discriminatory in terms of affirmative action. We do have affirmative action in this country, and we do have discrimination in this country with respect to universities like Jamia Millia Islamia and Aligarh Muslim
No, let me ask you a very pointed question, Subhrashtra, before I open this out.
We are a discriminatory country.
That point is well made. We understand that the CAB is being brought about, at least that's what the government says, to ensure that minorities who are persecuted in 3 countries, which are Islamic countries, get protection. One understands that. But if you take the logic forward, then if there is an NRC tomorrow and an Indian Muslim living here is thought to be an illegal, then what happens? Because the CAB will protect the rights of those Hindus and other minorities, excluding Muslims, who are deemed to be illegal, but not Muslims in specific. That's where the fear is coming up from. Subhrashtra.
I think it's a very hypothetical question in the sense that why would a Muslim or a Hindu or a Buddha or a Christian, if they are an Indian citizen and have proper documentation in place, why would their citizenship be suspect in the very first place? And if the citizenship is suspect, then all they have to do is to go to the local administrative office, which is the DC office, and claim their rightful share of citizenship.
16 lakhs.
Look, we have to understand
16 lakhs in Assam. 16 lakh individuals in Assam were deemed illegal. On a national level, that number will increase, balloon. You mean to say everyone will have to live in a camp and then go to the office and prove that they're Indians who have been living here for years altogether?
No. So what has happened in Assam is a mere exposure of the kind of rot that has been there in the country for a very long time when it comes to citizenship laws, when it comes to India's refugee policy. I have been saying it ad nauseum ever since the discussion has opened up. CAB is just a first step towards making India and Indian lawmakers realize that we need a robust refugee policy in place, which is working on a very ad hoc format right now. So while I understand the problems that Assam is facing after the NRC, the first list under NRC has been released, we need to understand one thing, that right from 1951, when Nehru brought in the first amendment in the constitution that was to do with expulsion of refugees, this Citizenship Amendment Bill is a mere extension of that Nehruvian philosophy. There is a context, I don't know why for more than 6 decades, no lawmaker has actually thought of bringing about a constructive change in India's refugee policy.
Well, Subhrashtra, you've laid it out. You've opened out. I've asked you 3 piercing questions. You've defended them. Let me throw it across the floor. Tejasvi Surya also joins us. Tejasvi Surya, I am astounded today. Because in the House, the opposition kept saying that this government is militating against the rights of Muslims. In my hand is an answer to certain start questions. And what it tells us, and this is big breaking news, viewers, this is big breaking news. Even as the TMC's amendments are defeated, all 14, we can confirm that this government, between the year 2016 and 2018, in fact, gave citizenship to 391 Afghanis, 1,595 Pakistani migrants, including Muslims. So I want to ask you today, from the NCP, Dr. Sameer Dalwai, before I bring in Tejasvi Surya, are you misleading Muslims in this country, sir, by saying to them that they are going to be stateless, that this government has it out for Muslims, when these are the facts laid before Parliament?
So these facts which you mentioned are the state so far. What's going to happen is what is the issue. And I completely agree with what you say, that the CAB by itself is not the issue unless it's combined with an NRC. And you are so right that a person who does not have the documents under NRC, if he belongs to one section of the community in India, he will be allowed to continue to be a citizen, but another section of the society will not be allowed to be a citizen. And that is where this bill is completely anti-constitution.
I'll ask Tejasvi Surya that question, but you haven't answered my question, sir. Dr. Sameer Dalwai, you're quoting me back. That's very nice of you. And I appreciate that you pay so much attention to what I say on the show. But you need to answer the question that I've asked you. How is it? How is it that you keep saying that this government militates against Muslims when it is actually giving citizenship to Muslims? And here is the proof. Tell me.
Yes, but that's what's going to stop now, isn't it? My question is, in the morning we read out, who is a refugee?
Okay.
A refugee is somebody in a neighboring country or from one country who goes to another country because he is persecuted. What makes you think only people of a particular community are persecuted? Let's look at what the Home Minister was saying this evening. He was talking about atrocities against Christians in the neighboring countries. Are we saying there are no atrocities against Christians in India? Are we saying there are no atrocities against people from the Hindu community in India? There are atrocities everywhere. Does it mean it allows us to discriminate only 3 neighboring countries on basis of one religion? That doesn't make sense. There is no
doesn't make sense. Tejasvi Surya, he says it just doesn't make sense. Now that you have passed the CAB, you're going to go on for a national level NRC, and you have nothing to fear because your vote bank is taken care of, which is predominantly a Hindu vote bank, and therefore today Muslims have reason to fear. That's what Mr. Dalwai is saying. That's what Dr. Dalwai is saying. How do you respond to it?
The constitutional relevance.
Yeah, okay. I've heard you. I've heard you, though you haven't answered my question. Though you haven't answered my question, I've heard you, Dr. Dalwai. I will come back to you. You need to get an answer. Yes, Tejasvi Surya.
Okay.
Rahul. Yeah, thank you, Rahul. Rahul, either Mr. Dalwai is misled or he is misleading, either of the two. One, with respect to the CAB and the question that you posed to him on whether the Muslims in this country who come to this country seeking refuge will be given refuge or not, or whether they will be given citizenship. The CAB Amendment Bill 2019 does not get into any of that. If someone comes to India seeking refuge from any of the countries in the world, India's refugee policy as on today is governed by a standard operating procedure that is in place from December 2011. That is going to take care of the refugees case by case basis. With respect to citizenship, Section 6 of the Citizenship Act deals with citizenship, granting of citizenship. Any person from whichever part of the country, irrespective of the religion, if they qualify the conditions of Section 6 and make an application therein, will be decided again on a case-to-case basis and citizenship will be given. What this amendment tries to do is only to give citizenship to those religious minorities who were persecuted in 3 neighboring Indian countries.
I understand that,
and who have already come and
I understand that, but what happens if there is an NRC tomorrow, a national NRC tomorrow?
2014.
What happens if there's a national NRC tomorrow and there are people left out and deemed to be illegals? Will you divide them up? Will you say, okay, sorry, Muslim illegals, you can get lost?
No.
And the rest stay.
Rahul, no, these are Rahul, this is the same fear-mongering that the opposition is doing without having any regard to facts and the real picture. When a national level NRC is conducted, everybody, irrespective of the religion, is going to be subjected to the same kind of requirements, and only those people who are illegal immigrants in the country, only those people will be excluded from the NRC, and the NRC is going to be a thoroughly secular exercise without any religion or without any race, language, any barrier. It is a purely secular
if you live in
exercise
Tamil Nadu,
which will
you're a
be
Hindu
inclusive
and
of
you
every
cannot prove
Indian
that you're a
who
bona
can-
fide citizen, you suffer just as much as any other Muslim living in any other part of the country if the NRC deems that you're illegal. Okay, that's one argument, that's one way of looking at it. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, is there a lot of fear-mongering? Are we seeing today the protests in Assam resulting from irresponsible fear-mongering on part of the opposition, or is there justification, number one? Number two, on the issue of NRC, are we once again seeing what about by the opposition?
Irresponsible fear-mongering over there.
I will come to you, sir.
I just want to come in there, please, Rahul.
I will come to you.
When
Let's
you
listen.
spoke about the
Okay, let's listen. Let's listen to Dr. Ranganathan, and you can respond to him. No problem, sir. No one's running away. We've got time. We've got time. Give me 30 seconds, please. Please, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, take the questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, good evening, Rahul. Thanks very much for having me. If you remember yesterday, I answered against the rub because this question wasn't asked by you, but I still spent a couple of minutes answering the question, exactly the same question that you've asked today to Shubhrashta and to Tejaswi. So, I'll just probably take 10 seconds to, address that and then move on to what I had to say about the hypocrisy and what you'd asked about the fear-mongering. So, yes, while I do believe that I applaud the CAB as well as the NRC, and I believe that they are two separate, disconnected exercises. But as I said yesterday, if they are combined, it has indeed the potential to cause harassment and hassle. So as I said yesterday, my view is that the Supreme Court has to look into this and formulate meticulous guidelines for the combination of CAB and NRC. But today we are discussing, the Rajya Sabha is about to deliberate and pass or not pass the CAB bill. So, and let me now come to the second point. Please give me a couple of minutes. We have discussed the CAB ad infinitum and shown how it is morally and constitutionally just. And after the stunningly incisive verdicts by Salve and Sundaram on your show, and I really congratulate you for it, no further defense, in my opinion, of the bill is necessary. As Eric Romer said, a collection only dilutes the masterpiece. So tonight, with your permission, can I just expose the hypocrisy and the fear-mongering of the bill's virulent opponents? And I'm spoiled for choice here, but let me begin with the communists, my dear friends. Rahul, did you know that the CPIM passed a resolution in 2012 imploring the UPA to immediately amend the Citizenship Act and grant citizenship to Bangladeshi minorities settled in India? And I'm not talking of Bangladeshi refugees, a phrase that can still mean people from all religious denominations. The CPIM specifically used the phrase Bangladeshi minorities. That at once excludes Bangladeshi Muslims. And now these Mao and Pol Pot lovers are up in arms because the NDA has done exactly what they demanded. Let me now secondly come to Mr. Kapil Sibal. The sheer vileness of his remark today that Hindus who came to India from Islamic republics were not persecuted. His own dad, the legendary lawyer Hiralal Sibal, had to flee Lahore, bundled up in a car given to him by a Maulvi. Millions fled certain deaths. And then he says partition took place because Savarkar was the proponent of the two-nation theory. Is this man trying to rewrite history? Decades before Jinnah or Savarkar, it was actually Sir Syed Ahmed Khan who proposed the two-nation theory, and I quote him now. Please give me 20 seconds. Hindus and Muslims are two antagonistic races.
The 18th century.
Is it possible that two nations, Hindus and Muslims, could sit on the same throne and remain equal in power? We do not want to become subjects of the Hindus. But even decades before Syed, it was Karl Marx who gave the very first exposition of the two-nation theory in his book, The Eastern Question in 1853, and I quote him now. The Quran and the Musalman legislation emanating from it reduced the geography and ethnography of the various people to the simple and convenient distinction of two nations and of two countries.
Right.
Those of the faithful and those of the infidels. So I began with the communist and I end with one. The vicious circle is complete.
Okay. Let's first get Upamanyu Hazarika into this and Dr. Sumant C. Raman. Upamanyu Hazarika, we have exposed the duplicity.
Ambedkar agreed in the end with that in his book on Pakistan.
Well, as far as the CAB goes, sir.
You see,
on thoughts on Pakistan.
all of this is very well. all this discussion, what Syed Ahmed Khan said, what Ambedkar said, etc., has felt very well. But the immediate necessity for the CAB is today, because you have 5.5 lakh Hindus who have been left out of the NRC in Assam, which is why it is the immediate necessity for the CAB, and which is why the Home Minister consulted with groups in the Northeast. The difficulty we have in Assam and in the Northeast is that indigenous and ethnic communities, because they are small, any minimal influx of say 10, 20,000 itself affects the identity. Now, for which reason? All the northeastern states save Assam have been left out of the ambit of the CAB. Now, the protests that you see in Assam today, I mean, they are not being covered in the channels, but they are unprecedented, not seen since the days of it is spontaneous. Tires are burning, houses, government buses are being burned.
So you're saying that the CAB violates
the Secretariat Assembly employees have come out and participated in the movement. So it therefore shows, and today internet has been suspended from 7 p.m. onwards in 11 districts of Assam.
Surya, the charge is that you're playing fast and loose with your commitment to the Assamese people.
That because we will welcome Hindus because we are turning into a Muslim majority.
Fair enough. Let me get him in. They sought guarantees from you. Their culture today could be diluted because you have legitimized, and we are not talking here about Hindus and Muslims. Legitimized in Assam the presence of outsiders / refugees who are Bengali speaking, sir. That's the charge.
Rahul, the Honorable Home Minister made it explicitly clear yesterday and also today while speaking in the Rajya Sabha that insofar as Assam is concerned, every effort will be made to ensure that no indigenous community of Assam will be subject to CAB. The territories where they are in domination are kept out of the ambit of CAB, and therefore these fears need not be entertained. I will also reiterate that when hordes of illegal Bangladeshi immigrants,
students are out, college teachers are out, state government employees are protesting. This is today what you have.
There's an extraordinary situation. The reason of internet being shut down is to maintain law and order. This has nothing to do with the CAB.
1 second, let's not descend into a crossfire. Breaking news coming in. More hypocrisy by the opposition, viewers. You have heard how the Shiv Sena staged a walkout. Now we are being told that Mayawati's BSP is abstaining today. 2 of her MPs have abstained. Now I want to ask you, this is big news. BSP MPs abstain. Shiv Sena makes a complete U-turn in 24 hours. Sumansi Raman, are you today hunting with the hounds, and I'm saying this with deliberation, hunting with the hounds of those who are trying to incite Muslims and other groupings in this country and running, sir, with the hairs of canards? I'm asking you this question. You need to respond, sir.
Rahul, can you give me 30 seconds?
One second, let me respond.
Yeah, I haven't spoken, so please give me a minute. Let me respond. First of all, it is completely irrelevant what the BSP does or what Shiv Sena does, because this is going to be cleared by the Rajya Sabha. There is very little doubt. I have 2 questions for Mr. Tejasvi Surya and Anand Ranganathan, and I'd be glad if they could be able to answer them. Can Mr. Tejasvi Surya, on behalf of the BJP, give, or on behalf of the government or the BJP government, give an assurance that the NRC, which will be carried out all over India, he said it would be a secular exercise. Will a Hindu who can prove he has been in India for over 6 years but has been declared an illegal immigrant, what will happen to him? Will he be put in the same detention camp that the Muslims are to be put in? What is the status? Second, As far as the northeastern states, we keep hearing this thing, the term that northeastern states are exempted, states will be given exemption.
Absolutely no
What
connection.
is the meaning of this exemption?
Completely oblivious to
one
what has
second.
happened in
What
the
is the
NRC exercise in
meaning
Assam.
of exemption?
Frankly speaking, nobody has taken a look at what are the facts and figures presented by the NRC exercise in Assam.
1 second, sir.
The one thing that Mr. Sumant Raman has not even asked himself is what is the majority of the people who've actually been excluded from the NRC exercise or because of the exercise who stand excluded. 16 lakh people stand
It is
excluded.
not about
90%
majority,
of them are
minority,
Hindus.
sir. You answer my question,
Therefore,
sir.
the question that I'm answering the
Yes,
question.
sir.
I'm sorry. The question
What
is
to
hanging in
happen
the
to
air
them?
and it is
Now,
meant
you
to be.
just
But the
tell
CAB
me,
protects
sir.
them.
Sir,
But the
Let me
CAB
answer this
protects
question.
them.
Let me answer this question.
If Hindus are,
No,
if
I'm sorry,
they
there
just
is
have
one
to say we've come from Bangladesh, Pakistan, or
is presented so far.
Okay.
This government has approached the Supreme Court when it came into power, asking for changes in the manner in which this exercise is designed for the simple reason that it was meant to
You
come
are-
out with
you
this
are not
particular
answering
outcome.
the question,
When the Supreme
Mr.
Court was
Surya.
approached by this particular government,
question
asking
was
for
very
these changes.
simple.
SC denied.
Yes, the Supreme Court denied. Therefore, this government's position has always been, and I don't hold forth for the government, but it is a fact.
Bangladeshi infiltrators.
This government's always
And
said
nobody's bothered
that
with that.
while we support the NRC in principle, the design of the particular process needs to be changed because there are too many flaws. Unfortunately, the Supreme Court shot down that particular request.
Sir, when
In
did
fact,
the
the government had
Supreme Court
requested for
order a
random
ban
checks.
So you came up with a
NRC?
CAB? You came up with a CAB? That was a political exigency, sir?
It was not a political exigency, that was a civilizational exigency which has been around for so many years. Since 2003, even when the UPA was in power, they've been asking for
Okay.
this.
Okay.
Let's not forget
Sir,
that there is a Nehru
CAB
Liaquat Pact of
and
1950
NRC,
which we continue to be responsible
Rahul,
for. And
Tejasvi Surya wants to come in.
He hasn't answered my question.
He's answering your question, sir, if you care to listen.
I specifically
Tejasvi
answered the
Surya.
question.
Two
My
things.
question.
Tejasvi Surya.
Yes.
Yes.
He has
Point one.
I'm sorry.
Yes, yes. Point
What
one, Rahul.
happens
CAB
to a
should have been
Hindu
legislated
illegal
50 years ago.
immigrant
Okay.
under
The
NRC?
CAB is a
What
belated
happens to
exercise
the Muslim?
and CAB is a civilizational duty that we are fulfilling.
Sir, I am
Hang
not
on, sir, let me
I have
answer.
asked a very
Sir,
simple
Arre,
question.
sir, let him answer.
NRC
You asked
is
the
a very
question, he's
secular
giving you a background and he's
exercise.
coming to your answer if you allow him.
50 years or 80
You
years,
wanted
it doesn't
If you
matter.
allow him, don't shout him
To
down.
the Hindu, what happens?
One second.
Just tell us.
No, Dr. Raman, don't shout him down. Listen, give him some time. Let him explain himself. If you're still unsatisfied, you can come out and contradict him. No problems. Yes. Yes, Tejasvi Surya, come to the point.
Sure.
Yes, yes. So the NRC is going to be a secular exercise that will be applied to every citizen of every person residing in India, irrespective of what religion he belongs to. And what the CAB is currently doing is giving a small window to only those religious minorities who entered India before 31st December 2014. What is difficult to understand in this? Every other person will be subject to the same kind of test. And all those people who fulfill the requirements, which of course I'm sure will be monitored by the Supreme Court in due course, and there will be a detailed delegated legislation on this that will come out, will be very clear. If
Will be
you
very
have
clear.
cared to
Don't
look at how
confuse the
NRC
CAB
exercise
deliberately
has
with the
taken place in
NRC.
Assam,
He hasn't answered
The
the
attack,
question,
no,
Rahul.
sir. He's answered you.
That is the whole
He's saying
point.
that any
That
NRC
is the
will be a
point.
Supreme Court monitored.
Question
Sir,
is very
he's
simple,
answered
sir.
you. You need to
Will
listen to
the
him. You don't want to listen to
Hindu
him. That's
be
your
put
problem.
in
But
the
he's
same
answered you.
detention camp along with the Muslims.
Sir, he's
No, he
answered
hasn't
you.
given an
He's given you an
answer.
answer,
Ask
clear
anybody whether
answer.
he's given
Are
an
you
answer. I wanted a
satisfied? No,
simple
why are you
yes or no.
unsatisfied?
He said there will be legislation coming in future. Saying
Sir,
what?
the question. No, sir. 1 second.
No,
One second.
very simple
One second.
question,
1
Rahul.
second. Sumant Raman, answer this question.
Will the
Answer, let me
Hindus also
answer
be
your
put
question
in
by a
the
counter
same
question.
camp?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
please. No. 1 second. Please listen. Did the NRC exclude a few Bangladeshi Hindus in Assam and other parts of Northeast, or did it not? If it did, then how can you say NRC was a communal exercise? If NRC in some point of the time, in some part of the country has excluded
Sir,
certain Hindus as well, if because they did not have certain papers or did not fulfill the criteria,
was a botched exercise.
In the same manner,
not saying
if
that
NRC will be
Mr.
applied to the whole of the country, those people who do not fulfill the criteria, irrespective of the religion, will be, and what happens to them, what number will come out, all of these things will be taken.
The point that needs to be understood is assume for a moment
which will be taken
that there's a person who is left out of this particular exercise thanks to the NRC which is carried out en masse nationwide. Can he automatically prove that he falls within the scope of the CAB, because you need to establish that you are basically coming from Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan? How do you establish that? What kind of a factual statement is this?
Okay, well, I can only say one thing, viewers. If there are so many parties really worried about the rights of Muslims in this country, why are they constantly walking out? Why are they walking out of that house and not opposing this bill? Why is Mayawati, who got up and said the CAB is an assault on the Constitution, her two MPs sneaking out of the house? Why has the Shiv Sena done a U-turn and also sneaked out of the house? They should have opposed the bill if there are so many problems. Dr. Anand Ranganathan.
Rahul, I want to say something on the Shiv Sena. Give me 15 seconds.
No,
please.
1 second. I'll come out to you because we have with us Tariq Fateh also. We have with us others. 1 second. Let me bring in Dr. Anand Ranganathan. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, is the opposition today, I'm coming back to my original question, playing with sentiments? That's all.
Absolutely. Absolutely they are. And I just exposed the hypocrisy of the communists who actually wanted to give Bangladeshi minorities, i.e. Hindus from Bangladesh, not the Muslims of Bangladesh who are here. They demanded that citizenship be given to them. They demanded of the UPA. When NDA does the same thing, now they are on the streets. And secondly, we exposed the hypocrisy of Congress, but I think we left out the poor cousins. As I say, Mr. Owaisi, the Jinnah who doesn't eat bacon. You know, these guys are talking about helping the persecuted minorities of Pakistan, i.e. for example, Ahmadiyas. Now, Ahmadiyas were declared non-Muslim by Pakistan in 1974. And in 1984, Zia prescribed some severe punishment for them. That is, even if they were to read publicly the Quran, they can be imprisoned for 3 years. So Owaisi wants to help the Ahmadiyas, but you can look at him, his history. He protested when Indian state declared Ahmadiyas to be Muslims. He said Ahmadiyas are not Muslims. We should protest Ahmadiyas being declared Muslims by the Indian census and the Indian state. Absolutely. So, you know, there is so much fear-mongering going on. As I said, you have to disconnect the CAB from the NRC. And as far as, if you give me 30 more seconds, Mr. Sumant Raman, you know, this silly rhetorical ping-pong question-answer session can go on. I can also ask you the question whether you believe that Sir Syed was the first one who proposed two-nation theory or Savarkar. But let me answer you because you asked this silly question. You know,
sir,
you appear on Times Now so often. Maybe one of these days you should take your...
past. I am interested in the future.
Now please, will you give me a chance?
Sir,
you took my name.
I believe
have some manners.
Indians are
have some
interested
manners.
in the
You
future,
took my name.
sir.
I'm answering your question.
I have only
Rahul, this is...
No,
this
you
is
too,
incorrigible.
you too.
You know, he just waits to interrupt because he
because
doesn't
you
have
quoted
anything
me
to
by
say.
name. That's why I intervened.
He's responding to you, sir. Since you took his name, let him respond to you. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, speak. Yes, I want to open this out. I want to bring in also. Okay, gentlemen, please, let's stop speaking over each other.
Civil unrest.
He asked me a question.
Okay, answer the question. Doctor, answer the question.
As I was saying, yes, as I was saying,
he didn't answer.
If you appear on this channel, the least you can do is take your eyes off the ceiling and watch the program as well. Yesterday, I spent 2 minutes explaining this very question. And I came to a conclusion that if you mix CAB with NRC, it has a potential to cause harassment.
You don't have
you can ask the anchor, the real anchor of the show, not you.
If you mix the CAB with the NRC, it has a potential to create problems. Would you like to respond, sir, before I bring in Mr.
So I will let it
pass. The first point that needs to be understood is not every person who stands excluded by NRC doesn't automatically become a beneficiary of the CAB. That is not how this particular thing works.
How does that work then?
Because
explain.
Assume for a moment if an NRC is necessarily undertaken in Tamil Nadu or in Andhra Pradesh or Karnataka, is it automatically established that these people are persecuted minorities coming from Pakistan, Afghanistan and Bangladesh? No. This is a question of fact. These people don't automatically, it doesn't say Hindus from whichever part of the world automatically become beneficiaries of the CAB, because you have specifically identified the target audience from the target region. Therefore, it's not as if you get excluded from NRC, you jump into the camp of the CAB. Point number two, the constant diatribe about Ahmadiyas and Shias, they don't understand there is a distinction firstly between religious persecution and sectarian persecution. Two, when it comes to Ahmadiyas and Shias and Sunnis, they may be fighting among themselves, but when it comes to their attitudes towards the Pakistani Hindu, they're united in their hatred of the Hindu. Therefore, that is the distinction that you have to strike between sectarian hatred and religious persecution.
Very important points. Tariq Fatah, I'm going to bring you in. Just going to go straight across to Rajya Sabha right now. Final voting taking place.
I shall please, Rangarajan ji. Mr. Rangarajan, vote will become invalid. No minister, no member should stand up and then try to convey to other member anything. Canvass it. I shall now put the motion of that the bill be passed to vote. The question is put. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no.
I think yes have it.
I think the A's have it. Division. Secretary General.
Honorable members, I am starting the voting process. The voting time starts now.
Well, the numbers, viewers, the numbers are out. The numbers are out. We know that a halfway of those voting and present in the House meant that halfway was 105. We are seeing that the citizenship bill has cleared the final test because the numbers on the board are 117. The noes are only 92. You always split down the middle. The total is 209 of those present and voting in the House. So you have a situation where 117 have voted in favor of the Citizenship Amendment Bill. A large number of refugees who have fled the three countries of Bangladesh, Afghanistan and Pakistan and settled in India and were left stateless can now look forward to a future as Indian citizens, viewers. This is historic in its own way. The repercussions will be many. They will play out. But I just want to quickly, very, very clearly mark a new turn, viewers. in the debate on citizenship in this country. I want to very quickly also open this out and bring in Tariq Fateh. Tariq Fateh, you've just witnessed history.
Absolutely.
I bet you would have wanted to be living in India because today you would have been a citizen. I want to ask you, many people are today saying that in the country that you escaped, sir,
yes,
in the country that you fled, why is it that we are only focusing on the persecuted minorities and not opening it out to Ahmadiyas and others? Many people are saying one of the reasons is because they also persecuted the minorities. Is this a fact?
Well, there are two types of discrimination that go on under the governance of Pakistan. First of all, Pakistan was created because of the Muslims of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Madras, Bombay. The people, the place that is now Pakistan was governed by Ghaffar Khan, Bacha Khan, Mir Ghaus Bakhsh Bizinjo, the Congress in Sindh and Punjab too never voted for the Muslim League to government. So this is not very clear to most Indians.
Yes.
The fact remains, our discussion on this TV in the last 4 years has been a paralysis of analysis.
Oh.
I think the Indian intellectual is now stuck in a mud as if the flat tires of a truck, not able to get out because the intense love for analyzing continuously something so simple. Let me put it this way. You have 1,000 years of Muslims raping and plundering this country from Ghazni to Qutbuddin Aibak to Babur to Taimur. How many more times do you want to be plundered that you would say enough is enough, that we are a sovereign Republic of India, you amputated our arms, you created 2 states for Muslims, and now those Muslims want to come and live in India? Excuse me? There was a state created for Muslims in the West, another state cut off made in the East, and yet the 200-300 million people over there want to live. Nobody's buying this. The people who flee from Muslim majority countries are primarily secular Muslims, people who are oppressed by the Punjabi state, which is the Balochistan area, the Pashtuns, the Sindhis, and for goodness sake, your second word in the national anthem is Sindh. It is not any other place. And yet, India has abandoned Sindh as if it was some desert lost somewhere in some field. Mohenjo-daro is where you come from, sir. You come from Harappa, Takshila, Lahore, Kasur. You've forgotten all of that and you have said, भाई वो छीन के ले गए थे हमसे, अब हम क्या करें? थोड़ा सा और आएंगे और दे देंगे हम. For heaven's sake, 1,000 years of slavery is enough. I mean, to be very honest, the straight point is this. The two-nation theory is based on Ghazwa Hind, which every mosque, every Muslim leader in India as a Muslim, I charge them for never denouncing Ghazwa Hind. Ghazwa Hind is the final war under Islamic law under which all Hindus will be dead, all Hindu temples will be crushed.
No, I don't think so. I don't think that's being fair to Indian Muslims. I think they rejected the two-nation theory. They rejected the two-nation theory.
I'm not talking two-nation theory, sir.
Well, sir, they completely, and they have also spoken against, as you know, sir, extremist Islam in this country. Yeah, what are you talking about?
I'm talking Ghazwa Hind. Tell one of your Muslim artists to say, admit what is Ghazwa Hind. That every Friday when you pray for Muslims to be given victory over the Qawmul Kafirin.
Okay.
What do you mean?
So you're saying that we are under no obligations. You're saying to give. What are you saying? This is confusing.
The persecution is one of political nature, of racial nature. That the Pashtuns, the Baloch, the Brahmana Bhukti who asked for an asylum.
But some people will say that is for Pakistan to settle.
No.
This is an intra-religion feud. You got to settle your own.
You mentioned
you got to settle.
Balochistan was an independent country that wanted to join India. And Abul Kalam Azad said, "Ye pata nahi kaise Musliman hain jo Urdu nahi bolte."
Let me quickly bring in. Yes, Sai Deepak wants to come in, and Subhrashtra. Yes.
People who constantly speak about the right of self-determination of Kashmiris in India should perhaps speak of the right of self-determination of Balochis, of Ahmadiyas, of Sunnis, of Shias, of Sufis, and anybody else who has a problem in the Islamic Republic of Pakistan.
Yes.
That doesn't necessarily mean India needs to accommodate everyone who's historically had an animus towards India and the concept of India, primarily because it happens to be a Hindu majority country.
Very good point.
So they can exercise their right of self-determination and carve out a nation for themselves. They can draw inspiration from Balochis.
How fair is that? How fair is that? I want to very quickly bring in Sanjay Hegde. Sanjay Hegde, constantly we are being told that this bill, the CAB, is selective. It positively discriminates against only 6 religions, but negatively discriminates against Islam. You've heard the debate here. Why are we making such a virtue out of this, sir? When you know that this bill secures minority rights.
Whose minority? Why are you defining India by what happens in Pakistan, Bangladesh, or anywhere else? We as Indians are proud of a nation
because
which does not
Pakistanis are attacking you, sir.
on the basis of religion.
Pakistanis are attacking you on the line of control.
Listen, if you want to interrupt me, I want...
Let him finish.
Please.
Yes.
I've just come on the show.
Yeah.
And if you think you have invaded India, Mr. Fateh, from Canada or wherever else you come from, please go right ahead. Be my guest. That's exactly what. Pakistanis are invading this conversation. Right, you prove it. Listen,
I'm not a Pakistani.
I know India.
Who said I'm a Pakistani?
And my India is very
I'm sorry,
simple.
that needs to be clarified.
Okay,
I'm not a Pakistani.
One second, gentlemen, let's not get side.
You were
okay,
a Pakistani
no
and
sideshow,
you
sir.
continue to
Address
be a
the question,
Pakistani.
Mr.
Forget
Hegde,
you.
please. We don't have much time. You've come in late also.
The point is this.
There's been a lot of disruption. One second, we've had to constantly go back to Parliament. So come on.
The point is this.
Yeah.
India protects everyone. Your Article 14 says equal protection of the law. This is the first time on the 100th anniversary of the Khilafat movement and the non-cooperation movement, you have positively discriminated against one set of people based on religion. Today is a sad day.
Sad day. Okay. Sai Deepak wants to come in and Subhrashtra wants to come in. Yes.
I'm
Sai
really
Deepak.
surprised that the Khilafat movement is being cited when specifically the Khilafat movement celebrates the concept of a global ummah.
Yes.
That is the worst of examples that Mr. Hegde could have given, and that is an example that flies in the face of the argument and the proposition that he seeks to make. Second, Article 14, the much touted article that these people have constantly gone on and on about, has clearly a specific provision, as the Supreme Court has said, it can make a reasonable classification on the basis of identifiable, intelligible criteria. That is how the Supreme Court has interpreted it. Had it not been for that, every minority-oriented scheme that has been created in this country can be rendered unconstitutional. The separate protocols that have been established for heads of state at let's say at the airport can be rendered unconstitutional. Therefore, the Supreme Court has realized, and it has said in several judgments, that Article 14 is subject to reasonable classification, and therefore who amounts to equals, it depends on the sample that you choose for yourself for that particular analysis. So this argument on Article 14 is
unreasonable classification.
Rahul?
Subhrashtra coming in.
10 seconds.
Yes. Subhrashtra.
So Rahul, Rahul, I've been really interested in responding to 2 arguments which came on your panel. One was, why do we keep going back to history? And I think it was touted by none other than Mr. Raman. I would like to remind Mr. Sumant C. Raman that history is not the sole preserve of misleaders in this country who would choose to interpret it and reinterpret it in ways that they want. So Mr. Hegde can come on your channel and give a very fanciful description and rhetoric of what it is that this bill has for India, but wouldn't want to listen to a response. Listen, we need to understand that whether it was Indira Gandhi or it was Nehru, they all let Hindu refugees in. They didn't make much hullabaloo about it because that was not a vote bank for them. Maybe because today Hindus have found a voice of assertion, and that this government is actually legitimizing this assertion, the seculars in this country have a problem. Thirdly, with respect to the Ahmadiyas, I have been forced to tell this on national television that Ahmadiyas are welcome in this country, but let me remind the viewers, Rahulji, that for all the anti-Hindu hatred that Ahmadiyas had for India, and it has been well documented in history, they are still welcome in this land morally, but technically they should not be. That is the real meaning of secularism, and we stand by that secular fabric of this country, Rahul.
Okay,
but
viewers,
none of the opposition and none of the baseless voices on television who want to prove that this bill is anti-Muslim will prove that it is.
Okay, look, I'm running out of time.
This bill is the most secular as it can get.
Okay.
It has done historical justice to persecuted minorities.
Okay, well, we've heard those arguments. I've run out of time. I need to take a short break. Rajya Sabha adjourned. The bill is passed. CAB will be implemented in this country, I am sure there will be a range of activist lawyers who will hit the Supreme Courts. There will be a race to court number 1 to file all sorts of PILs. That's going to happen. They're within their rights. But I just want to point out a couple of things, viewers. When people say we have no obligations to anyone in this region, and that we must be obligated also to taking in Pakistani Muslims, Bangladeshi Muslims, Afghani Muslims, I just want to tell them one thing. India was founded on the principle of securing also the rights of those who are persecuted across this land. And those individuals require intervention on our part. And I also want to point out, viewers, 3 statements. Dr. Manmohan Singh said on 18 December 2003 in the Rajya Sabha that minorities in countries like Bangladesh have faced persecution. It's a moral obligation that if circumstances force people, these unfortunate people, to seek refuge in our country, our approach to granting citizenship to these unfortunate persons should be more liberal. Mahatma Gandhi and the Congress Working Committee also came out and said pretty much the same thing. Mahatma Gandhi, September 26, 1947, Hindus and Sikhs. He didn't talk about Muslims. Hindus and Sikhs staying in Pakistan can come to India by all means if they wish to be and continue there. In that case, it is the duty of Indian government to give them jobs and make their lives comfortable. We today are upholding and walking the Mahatma's talk, viewers. The Congress Working Committee, 25th November 1947, that's the resolution. Congress is duty-bound to provide protection to non-Muslim immigrants. Today, all these political parties are accusing the government of going back on their commitment to secularism. How does this square? Think about it. We take a short break. Navika Kumar on the News Hour in just 2 minutes, viewers. Stay with us.